The court system has compromised. The EFCC has compromised. The police has compromised in the ongoing looting of our collective resources. Today, I'm going to talk to you on this subject matter with particular reference to an incident that you are all aware of: the theft of 300 million naira from the account of the Ishekiri Regional Development Committee. This is just an example of the scale of corruption that is ongoing in this country. As a preamble, I would like you to know that when you hear of IRDC, you may wonder what exactly it is all about. The mainstay of Nigeria's economy, as you all know, is oil and gas. One of the biggest players in the industry is Chevron Nigeria Limited. And one of the biggest stakeholders in terms of host communities are the Ishekiri people. As far as Delta State is concerned, the Ishekiri communities account for the highest quantum of oil production. Now, this reflects in the book sharing formula, both from the SOPADEC to the corporate social responsibility of Chevron Nigeria Limited. And that is where we are on today. Chevron Nigeria Limited, in an attempt to fulfill its corporate social responsibility to its host communities, designed a model of development called Global Memorandum of Understanding. Now, this Global Memorandum of Understanding gave birth to what you know as the Ishekiri Regional Development Council, as far as the Ishekiris are concerned. That is the organ through which Chevron channels its corporate social responsibility through for the socio-economic development of communities where it operates. I will not go too wide, but I will narrow myself to the 300 million. Now, at the most critical time in this whole story, there was in the account of the Ishekiri Regional Development Council 2.1 billion naira. 2.1 billion naira. And some social critics dragged the council, the Ishekiri Regional Development Council, to court. Hence, the money became unaccessible. That money was designed for projects across the Ishekiri communities. Now, sometime late last year, 2020, there was a huge-scale conspiracy involving the court system. I repeat, involving the court system and the leadership of the Ishekiri Regional Development Council, with the acquiescence of the Delta State government and Chevron Nigeria Limited. Now, as a lawyer, I want to explain that the project account is an account that has three principal signatories: representative of Chevron Nigeria Limited, representative of Delta State government, and representative of IRDC, with Chevron Nigeria Limited being signatory category A, meaning that without that signatory, every other thing being equal, no dime can be withdrawn from that account. Now, the case that was holding that money was in Warri High Court here. I was involved in the case as a lawyer. That is why I'm so pained. Now, what happened? A young man called Emmanuel Aginejone was a party initially in the case. So, there was a conspiracy to strike out his name. His name was struck out, and then he appealed to the Court of Appeal, bringing an application that the proceedings in the lower court should stall, what we call stay of proceedings. At the same time, there was an appeal in the Supreme Court, proof of which is this. This is the appeal in the Supreme Court. Now, I was also served this as a lawyer. The question now is, how did the 300 million naira vanish? How did the 300 million vanish? Now, why the case was transferred from Warri to Efunu, the case was transferred from Warri to Efunu. We have here proof that the young man called Emmanuel Aginejone appealed his name being struck out from the case. I'm going to make it available to you. This process was filed 9 a.m. Here is 8:39 a.m. on the 19th of October. Which means, as soon as they removed those people's name, they filed a terms of settlement, and they adopted it as the judgment of court that same day. And in this terms of settlement, they put there that they will take professional fees as frontline charge from the account. Meanwhile, these cases are also pending in the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. Now, a judge before whom these things were filed in the same morning at the same time. Ordinarily, before you remove somebody's name from a case, the person should have notice of it. The mere fact that you are filing on the morning when the case is coming up and the person is not in court shows you that the person is not aware. And you now file a terms of settlement empowering you to close the case in the lower court. Meanwhile, the ones in the appellate courts are still in existence. Good. The times are listed there. These are public documents that when I give to you, if you want to apply for, you can apply for them and see for yourself. Now, this was where the fraud started. 300 million out of 2.1 billion naira is not 10%. They claim that the lawyers charge 10%. There was never like I said, I was a lawyer in that case. We never charged 10% of what? Of the money we came to meet, not the money we went to create. That means whoever does any job for government that has 10 billion in their account, we get 1 billion naira. But let us even assume, like Father Christmas, that it is 10%. 300 million naira is not 10% of 2.1 billion naira. It will be 210 million naira. What about the 19 million naira that's on top of that? Apart from the fact that I was never a part of the discussion and I never participated in any sharing, it could not have been. But let us assume that it was. By their own showing, if they say it is 10%, they have stolen 90 million naira. That is enough crime. Now, they needed to assess this money. What did they do? The leadership of the IRDC who was conspiring with them, they immediately applied for the order, the judgment of court, which the judge that morning signed. The judge signed it that morning. After doing it, they now went ahead to serve Form 48 on the bank that was working with them. Told the bank that if the bank did not release the money, that they will commit the bank to prison. We also have that there, notice of discontinuance. I marked it 3G. It is here for you to see. Now, when they did that, they were able to withdraw the money. Now, I said now before that Chevron did not sign in the withdrawal of the money. Chevron deposed to an affidavit in court, which I also have here. Chevron lamented. I have marked it 4 when you see it. Now, I crave your indulgence to read what Chevron deposed to an affidavit. Not in my office, so in court. It's a public document. Chevron Nigeria Limited. They said that the 9th defendant, that is Chevron Nigeria Limited, is not opposed to the claimant's relief because we brought an action that the court should investigate the matter and set aside that their illegal judgments. Chevron said they are not opposed to our relief. The 9th defendant, that is Chevron, had no notice of, neither did he consent to the withdrawal of the sum of 300 million naira from the accounts of the IRDC domiciled with the bank. I told you Chevron is the account. When you have account ABC, signature ABC, Chevron is A, and it was Chevron that donated the money. Chevron is saying that they were not aware and they did not give their consent. Comes down to say Chevron was not privy to the settlement between IRDC and other parties in that case. Now, Chevron said that the notice of withdrawal was done in bad faith to surreptitiously remove the suit from court. This is Chevron speaking. So as to prevent Chevron from having a right to protest in court, they also removed Chevron. In that morning, Chevron was one of the persons they removed from the suit because they knew that Chevron would not agree with them. To prevent Chevron from being aware of what they intended to do. My distinguished members of the press, when a person who is a principal of a school says that he doesn't know how somebody was admitted into that school, this is a legal document deposed to, signed, sealed, and filed for the High Court in Efuru and marked it for. Now, we did a petition to the EFCC. We did a petition to the EFCC. I marked it as 1 here. This petition was done on the 24th day of November 2020. And because we are now approaching another November, I have lost complete faith in the entire system. Up till now, I have told you how a reasonable man will conclude that the court conspired to allow a party to discontinue against 2 persons in the morning without serving those persons. And in the same morning, adopt the terms of settlement with the new people that are remaining in the case. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's not even mathematics. It's simple arithmetic to know that something is smelling here. My submission is that the court played along deliberately. That's my submission. The court played along deliberately. So we petitioned the EFCC. When we petitioned the EFCC, we annexed all these documents. We traveled to Benin more times than we have had breakfast in 1 month. We were going and coming, submitting all documents and what have you. At the end of the day, it may interest you to know that the EFCC told us that we reported the matter to too many agencies and that there is a civil matter that is in court and therefore they cannot investigate any further. That is exactly, I'm quoting what the EFCC said. Now, I have also printed out a judgment of the court that says that both civil and criminal matters can go on pari passu. I have also added it here. In the case of Ogboru against Ibori, the court said that the fact that you have filed a civil matter does not prevent the criminal matter. This is an elementary principle of law. Otherwise, I will commit a crime and go and file a civil case and tell you that it's a civil case. And that is what the EFCC is telling me. That's the report coming from the EFCC. My only submission is that the EFCC has also been breached. That's my submission. Now, we also went against the bank. We wrote to the CBN that you cannot withdraw money from an account where signatory A did not sign. Again, the bank system collapsed the same way the court, the EFCC collapsed. They wrote to us, this is their letter, and said that because there's a civil matter in court, they cannot look into this case. This is it. It is here. I will give all these copies to you. We also wrote to the police. When we wrote to the police found merit in our petition, and police decided to invite the leaders and the bank to come. The leaders refused to come. And when eventually they came with government officials. Now, I'm not going to mention the name of the government official, but it suffices that when they came, they were let go without any form of documentation whatsoever. So when we pressure the police further, the police was now, we guided the police, they were not able to issue a second invitation, which these people refused to honor. Police now issued cost bench warrant to be issued by the magistrate court to be served on them. And we mobilized the police as usual to storm their place of meeting. By the time we got there, a call came from Abuja, Force Headquarters, that the matter has been taken over by Force Headquarters. And that we who are petitioners here are suspects over there. I now ask, what are we suspected to have done? They said that it is conduct likely to breach public peace. So I now picked up my pen and did a petition to the president and to the Attorney General of the Federation. That slowed them down there. Otherwise, they would have embarrassed us. I have invited you here because, as you can see in my story, I have gone to the executive, it has failed. I have gone to the judiciary, it has failed. Where will I go to? My studies tell me that there is a fourth estate apart from these three. Apart from the executive, legislative, and the judiciary, there is the fourth estate of the realm. I hope you are not going to tell me that because the case is in civil court. That you are not going to be able to report it. You see, this is too dangerous. It is too dangerous. We are living in a society today that is public-private partnership. I know the pressure I'm currently under to remove the case from court. But I can't keep quiet. I want to tell the public. I want to bring my case to the court of public opinion, having failed in the regular court. I'm just following and hoping that something will come out. But it is sad. I've been branded as the person stalling the balance 1.8 billion in the account because the bank has taken caution now that something has happened about the 300 million. They don't want to release any cover to them, so they are pressuring us to go and withdraw the case from court. But why am I bothered? I am bothered because when people do things and go away with them, it encourages more people to do those things. And this is a society where, sadly, there are primary schools that are leaking. Their roofs are leaking. There are no chairs. There are no books. Some of these people who are investing these funds are living comfortably. They are being driven around with mobile police station. So you find that oil and gas will not be here forever. By the time we mismanage this, in the name that they are branding us now as troublemakers, we will see that we have no legacy at all. And it is most painful. It is better that one is not sufficiently enlightened to know what should be. Then it won't be painful. Or it's too painful when the central bank will tell you this kind of a thing. And yet, if a poor man, a poor Yahoo boy, should hack an account, he's in trouble. So, for me, I would have wanted to use the word restructure. Restructure will not suffice. We need a complete disintegration. You know, when a computer is very, very bad, you reformat it. We need to reformat all the critical institutions. The truth is, an IRDC officer who takes home about 6 million naira per annum sees an opportunity to take home 100 million per day. Such a temptation is hardly resistible for a man who is not sufficiently moved by character. The monies we are calling are too huge. More than half of humanity will not see 100 million naira in their account before they die. That's the truth. We are talking about, I said I didn't want to go into, and it is the same experience with the OMOU, because there is the GMOU and there is the OMOU. The same experience. That one's about 1.4 billion. You know, for you to imagine that communities that have this kind of monies in their coffers can have schools that have leaking roofs, can have roads that are not motorable, health centers that are in dilapidated forms, students, impecunious students that cannot enroll for a while. I don't think hell will be different from this experience.